cute little 3D box. As soon as I got the main catalog, I always thumb through it and find out things I know I'm going to want to make. And this little box, it just, you know, my eye just went to it like immediately. So I thought it's about time that I do it. And, you know, it's a great masculine. The one that I'm doing is masculine. So, you know, Father's Day is right around the corner. So it would be a fun one to do for that. So, but you totally could change it easily and make it be like for a girl too. But this is Mimeograph Monday, and that means doing it just like the catalog. Sometimes I do have to alter just a tiny bit if, say, I don't have something in particular. But I have everything today, so I don't have to change it at all. All right, so let me flip the phone and we'll get started. All right, let me flip the phone. All right. So what I want to do is this fun little box right here. And we have these cute little, they're like miniature Stampin' Up boxes. And if you have ever got a Stampin' Up order, you have seen a big box like this. So I'm going to make this one. So I have my little recipe. And let me get the catalog out of the way. So we will be using Campology. We're going to use the little box that I just showed you. We're also going to be using the Forever Greenery, and it's like it's a combo pack, and we're using the gold trim from that. And we're also using the faux suede trim. And the Flowers for Every Season DSP, we're using that as well. And the In Color Enamel Dots. So there's more to this box than we realize, right? And we also have the, I want to make sure, this is the Fancy Tag Topper Punch. What else do I have in my pile? We have our tear tape. And the inks that we're going to be using are Just Jade and Early Espresso. All right. So if you're here, let me know you're here. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Now, I'm also going to use a classic label, but that's not listed. But, you know, we learn little tricks as we go along. All right. So let me get stuff going on. All right. I want a little piece of grid sheet. So I'm going to stamp on the box first. Now what I did is I just took a piece of, hi Jenny, took a piece of copy paper and I just trimmed it down a little shorter than 7 inches. And I'm going to put this inside my box. And this is just going to stop like the other sides from getting ink on them. Because see, if I stamp this, it would get ink on it. So that's just going to keep that clean. And then I'm also going to use a little grid sheet for down along the bottom and underneath. So I have a whole bunch of grid sheets going on today. All right, so let me get this. Now the tree is with the Just Jade. Now you can fill this box with anything. Now, it doesn't have that waxy feel to it like the treat boxes that I've done before. So what I did with my treat, I did put them in a little cellophane bag. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I'm just inking up. It's a big stamp. So if it's a big stamp, I usually go like this, and then I can see that I've got all my areas. All right. So we have one hand holding the grid sheet, one hand holding the box, You have to be an octopus. All right. So, and give a good, hi Betsy. So give it a good push down there. Try not to get any on my table. All right. So then we're just going to keep doing this all the way around the box. So this is when having multiple hands. If you stand up, it's a little bit easier as well. Now, if you don't want to worry about the ink getting on here, if you don't mind ink getting on there, you don't have to cover this, but I didn't want ink getting on there, so that's why I'm just being real cautious and covering these areas. So this one is just a little low because you do have kind of like this ghost look because there's a little bit of a, it's like a little thick right there. And so just pull your grid down a little bit. All right. Another tree. Okay, then we're going to flip and do the other side. And it will take the ink a little bit time to dry, only because of the paper or the box, whatever the box is made out of. All right, so I don't really need it on that one. I'll need it down here. Just because it's not cardstock. You know how the cardstock just loves the paper and just sucks that ink right up. So the box material takes a little bit longer to dry. So while it's drying, then we're just going to make our cute little tag. All right, scoot it over. So hopefully, if you have these in your cupboard and you haven't used them, you'll get them out and make something with them. All right. Now, when we put them together, they do go together upside down. So if you've never made them, they can be a little confusing at first. All right, one more and we'll have the box done. So I wasn't sure how crazy this nail polish color was going to be on the video, but it doesn't look too bad. But in person, holy moly, it is very bright. Jeff says it looks like an 8-year-old nail polish. And it should glow in the dark, he said. But it doesn't because I tried. Ugh. All right, so there we go. So we have our box. Let me get that out of here. So we have our box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set it aside so it can dry really good. And we're going to do our tags. So the tag is using cinnamon cider cardstock, whisper white or basic white cardstock. And then these are the 2 pieces of the flower for every season. I always want to say for all season, but flowers for every season. This is the DSP. So this is on the back side. So I love this DSP pack because it is just so versatile. It can be, you know, so many different themes and everything. All right. And then my early espresso. So let me get that out. So my early espresso, I'm just going to stamp the cute little binoculars. I have my pop colors and we were using them one night. What the heck did we have recently? Oh, in the sky, something was near something. And they weren't really the right kind of binoculars for that. So Jeff and I always talk about someday we should get like a telescope or something like that. All right, so we have our little binoculars in there. So I'm done with the early espresso. So let me close that out. Hi, Steve. Okay, so then let me set that aside to dry too. Then what I want to do is put the little Explorer, and I'm going to use the Just Jade for Explorer. And I'm just stamping it on the cinnamon. Easy peasy. All right, so now I can close my pads, so we're not going to get any ink on us. All right, so while those inks are drying, let's use our tag punch. So I cut these just a smidge smaller than 2, because then it slides right in there, lickety-split. If you cut it right at 2, it's just a little snug. So I have just found if you just come in a little bit from the 2, it's a lot easier. So what it does is it puts that awesome, it punches the hole, and then it gives you that nice little fancy edge. All right. So this one goes on the top, this one goes underneath. And I don't think I need this anymore. All right. And then I just cut them however long. Like if you were making multiples, you could do your tag on this side and then you would have 2. So I'm just making the 1. All right, so let's decorate our tag. Let me make sure this is good and dry because I just inked those pads. So I'm going to turn this over onto my grid sheet. So I'm going to lay it down here and I'm just going to rub. And if there's any wet ink, it's going to pick it up. See, there was a little bit. It's going to pick that up off the grid sheet or off the stamp. All right, I also need my dimensionals. All right, so I'm putting this on with dimensionals just so it pops off the page a little bit. And then it comes about here. And it's fun copying out of the catalog because it's fun to figure out, for one thing. And then, okay, so this is what I've done a little bit differently. So this just makes me able to cut this out of there. Now I am going to make it smaller, but it just kind of gets it kind of started. And then I'm just going to take my scissors. But by copying out of the catalog, someone else has come up with the idea. And it's just kind of neat. It's like going to a class. You know, you go to a class, either whether it be at somebody's home, or if you do like one of my classes in the mail and just watch a video, it's the same kind of idea. All right, so I'm going to trim that and trim that. So you're basically kind of taking a class from Stampin' Up! When you do a copy out of the catalog. All right, I'm just going to straighten that just a little bit. Okay, so that looks good. So then I'm going to use a little bit of the green tip glue. You scooch down just a tad. All right. So a little bit of green tip glue on there. And this will allow me to wiggle it a little bit so I can get it right where I want it. So that looks good. So it just says Explore. Now, if you wanted, you could use glue dots if you wanted to pop out a little bit, but that was good enough for how I wanted it. All right, then we want that gold. It's like a gold twine. It's really pretty, and it like frays at the end. So that's kind of fun. Now I'm just cutting myself a big hunk of it because I have a lot of it. So what I'm going to do is I want to put these 2 tags together, but they're not glued together. So basically the only thing that's holding them together will be this gold twine. So I'm just going up and then I'm pulling this through, and then that makes that tag thing. So we're just going to set that aside now that they're hooked together. Then we want to use our in color enamel dots, and I'm going to grab this one here. So I just kind of bend, which allows me to get my scissor underneath there. So we have one here. So I just kind of bend it again, and then it releases it, and I just pick it up. Now you can use your pick-me-up tool too, but it just seems like I always have my scissors on hand, so I always use my scissors. All right. And then, so when I was looking at it originally from the catalog, I was like, oh, they used 4. You have to use an uneven number. But then when I looked at it better, there is 5. I just had to look at the recipe. So the angle of the recipe is different than the catalog, and I could see that indeed there were 5. All right. So we have our cute little decorated tag, and see how simple that was. All right, so now I'm going to take my scissors, and I've got my tags together, and I'm going to cut my tag straight across like that. But then I want to take just the top one, and I'm going to cut a smidge off because I want the green one to be a little shorter. Okay, so now it's a little shorter. Let me get these out of the way. All right, so our box should be good and dry by now. Hi, Donna. Hi, Anna. Okay, so our box should be good and dry by now. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, so then you are just going to move all this stuff off the desk. Scoot up a little bit so I actually can see. All right, so we're just going to give our box the creases. Crease all the little lines. Now remember, did I say that the box is actually like an upside down kind of box? So we're getting all our creases going. Because usually this is how the box closes, right? Whenever you have a present, it kind of closes like this, but then the Stampin' Up's upside down. So it's made like a box that you would get like your order in, right? And it's just all taped together and all your lovely Stampin' Up stuff's inside. All right, so I'm just getting all my creases. So I think that's why it was made the way it was. Hi, Audrey. I'm so glad you're here. I'm kind of gonna, I think I'm gonna enjoy doing the Mimeograph Mondays as a live. Then we can, you know, chat a little bit. And then if you have any questions about what I'm making, you can ask them. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to put my box together like this. So give it just a crease. But that is going to keep it square. So see, by putting the bottom together first, it keeps this top like square. And we're going to put tear and tape. So we're going to put tear and tape on here. Okay? Because this is going to come down like that. So where's my tear and tape? I showed you my tear and tape. Did I not? There it is. All right. Because, let's see, I want it to be, all right, so I'm just going to cut a piece. I know you can tear it, but to me, I always seem to tear my material. Like if I do the tear and tape, it always seems like when you tear it, you pull up a little bit on whatever you're gluing and it tears it. So maybe that's what tear means. It's going to tear your paper. I don't know. So I always use my scissors. And then I have a nice cut edge. All right. So that's going to go on there. So I'm simply just adding tear and tape to here. Push, push, push. There we go. All right. So the box is in its place, and then we're simply going to fold this down, turn it over, and fold this down. Now we're going to want to give it a good rub, right? So now we can flip it over, open it up, and reach inside and rub really good, and then it will be a good seal. So by putting the tear and tape on the edge like that, you also avoid getting tear and tape here. So when I did one box before, I did it the opposite. I put tear and tape on the long edge, and then when I opened the box, I had tear and tape in here. So that's why you want to put the tear and tape the way I showed you. So that's also why I do the videos. Hi, Cindy. Because then you can learn from my boo-boos, right? All right, so we are going to put, I have quite a few of these carrot candies. So I thought those would be perfect to put inside. So we're going to put some of those in. So remember I said that doesn't have the seal, like not the seal, but the, oh my mind. It doesn't have that waxy feel like the treat boxes. So if you're going to put food in them, just put the food in like a cellophane or something. That way, if it leaks, it's not going to bleed through to your box. All right, so now I have this amazing faux suede ribbon. I love this stuff. Oh my gosh, it really does feel like suede. So now I'm just kind of pulling my ribbon so I can tie it in a bow. So I'm just eyeballing it. So that looks good. So now I'll cut my edge. And then what I'll do is I'll put the measurements at the bottom of the video when I put the, the supplies up. So I will put the measurements. All right, so then we're just going to tie a bow. And wrap it around just like we're tying our shoes. But as we get to this, force that edge over so that it's going to be over here. Get off of there. All right. Then we can scoot that down a little bit. Scoot, scoot, scoot. It likes to stick because it's got the suede. Well, we're not going to scoot it much further. All right. So then we have our tag. So we're going to come back with our tag. And we're basically, now this, it's always funny because if anyone from Stampin' Up, I know Melanie sometimes watches. She works for Stampin' Up. And I'm always like, I wonder if they ever watch a video and go, that is not how we did that card or how we did that box. What is she thinking? But, all right. So I'm just making a few little knots just so that that's tight. And I'm going to do one more. Like that. And then I'm going to trim it. And then this will fray. So look how cute this is when it frays. It's super fun. Super, super fun. All right. So then we will also trim these tails. So see, I used too much. But anyways. But isn't that the cutest little box? So I just was like, I could not wait to make this box. So where is the catalog again? Let's just see how good I did. So I did not too bad. So here's the recipe. So that's how I could tell there was 5 in color enamel dots. All right. I have like no space on my desk today. All right. So here's the catalog again. So see, looks pretty close. And then here's the one I did earlier because I always do one ahead of time. And this is the one that I realized, oh, I need to put my tear and tape on the other side, or you're going to be sticky inside your box. Now, if you don't want people to eat your candy, you could stick it to the bottom of the box. Maybe they would just want to look at it. But, so anyway, so hopefully you will maybe make one or two of those little boxes, because they are fun. They are super, super fun. And they look adorable on your shelf, you know, like if you have, you know, some Stampin' Up! Cards or something, you know, you have up on a shelf, or like a hutch or something, you know, make up a couple of the little boxes and just kind of stack them like you have an order. Yep, you got home, huh, Jeannie? So hopefully that's fun. I want to remind you of a few things. Okay, we still have the countdown to 900K. We are close to our first 1,000, and then I'll pick that name live. What else I have here to remind you? The butterfly bouquet. Don't forget about that. That's going on now. I have I probably should have showed you these when I had the camera facing down. Don't forget, you have till March the 15th to sign up for my True Love DSP class. So you definitely, and then you'll get the opal rounds as well. You definitely want to take that class. You're going to do 6 different cards, because usually I'll have repeats, like you'll do like 3 of 2 designs, or, you know, whatever, but you're going to do 6 different projects. So that will make it even more fun. But I think that's all I have going on today. Make sure that you join me tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays, and that's at 3 o'clock Arizona time, and that's in my Facebook group. So if you are not part of the Facebook group, you know, please send a little thing to join, and then you can watch the live over there. I always bring them back to the YouTube, but then they're like a replay, and I always like the little chats. So I'm glad. Yes. Oh, Cindy, it would be a nice box for your grandsons. It totally would. Totally would. So, and you could always you know, glue it opposite, you know, and then have the like if they're going to open it, like with your kids, you might glue the bottom with the tear and tape, right? And then just tack it down with make the ribbon, you know, close it so that when they undo the ribbon, the top opens. But I just sealed it because now it's just going to sit on my shelf. Like, well, I'll take the candy out and eat the candy, and then it'll just sit on my shelf empty. So, and then I just wanted, you know, it to be like all the way taped closed. So, but anyways, so hopefully, and I love that Campology stamp set. My husband's a hunter, camper, fisher, so I'll have to make him up a little box. Maybe I'll just give him that box. He likes those candies. And when he gets home from work, I'll have it on the counter. So, for a little pick-me-up. All right, so that's all. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow, again, at 3 o'clock Arizona time for my Teach Me Tuesdays. All right, thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.